What's going on, everybody? It's Joel here, and the day has finally come after about 2 years of waiting for this shoe. The Rich Froning RF1 is here. It's in my hands. It is November 14th. The shoe comes out on November 15th. So by the time this video drops, you should be able to purchase your RF1s. So this is going to be a first impression video about these shoes. I'm going to go over things like fit and then just kind of the build quality, not so much performance, though I will do a workout and then I'm going to report in after that workout and let you guys know what I thought about the RF1s after just one workout, so you're not hanging in suspense for too long. So a little bit of history with the RF1. This is obviously Rich Froning's signature shoe. It's his second shoe. The first one was the Compete 614. We first started seeing this shoe around early 2017. At that time, people were going bonkers over the shoe. Everybody freaking loved it. And then it kind of just faded away. It was supposed to come out at the end of 2017 and never did. And a lot of people thought it just got canceled. I thought it got canceled. I actually heard it got scrapped. But what had happened is that they took the shoe and they changed it from being on the Nano Last to being on the Speed Last. So the shape of the shoe kind of resembles the Speed a little bit more than the Nano. So visually, the shoe, honestly, I don't think it looks that bad. I don't think it's the best looking shoe, but I don't think it looks that bad. A lot of people saying it's like, you know, Dad Shoe 2003, like it looks like a skater shoe. But honestly, when you get it in real life and you're looking at it, it's not that bad. And it doesn't look as clunky in person as it does in pictures. I'm not going to say that this is the best looking shoe. I would be lying. It's not the best looking shoe, but it's not a bad looking shoe either. They definitely look better than the original Competes, I'll tell you that much. The upper itself has like this Dyneema fabric, and I'm assuming it's this part right here where the kind of, I don't want to say webbing is, but like the checkered is. And that is not Kevlar. A lot of people thought it was Kevlar. I thought it was Kevlar before I heard about what the fabric was. It's kind of like a TPU or polyurethane material. It's a little bit rigid. It's not soft. It's a little bit slippery feeling. The other material that you'll find on the upper is this mesh that is a little bit more heavy duty than the mesh that you're going to find on the Speed TR, but it's very, very similar. There are a bunch of like Rich Froning details all over the shoe. There's the little Rich Froning logo in the front instep, and then there's this little Rich Froning logo. There's the Galatians 614 right there on the inside of the shoe. And then there's the Rich Froning logo in the inside. And so let me pull that out for you guys of the shoe right there. So the upper also has a really another cool feature, and that is that there is a elastic strap right here, so you can kind of just slip these shoes on and off, which makes putting them on pretty easy. The laces are just flat basic laces, which actually stay tied. They're not cheap feeling. They're a little bit more bulky, but they feel good. The tongue is padded on both sides, and then not so much in the middle. It kind of creates these angles around where your foot goes in, and it actually is pretty comfortable. The inside part of the shoe has this kind of like TPU material. This is pretty hard, and it's got these little dots on it, and I'm assuming that's to help with rope climbs. Of course, you have this area right here in the instep of the shoe, and that's definitely going to be for rope climbs. The outsole of the shoe is this ridged outsole. It doesn't really resemble like a Nano at all. Like this is the Nano 8 and this is the Rich Froning. This guy almost looks like a trail shoe by the looks of the outsole. So going back to the actual shape of the shoe, like I said, it's more like a Speed than a Nano. But there's more to the upper of the RF1s than the Speeds. The Speeds, to me, had always felt a little bit flimsy as far as the upper went. On the Rich Froning shoe, there's like cushioning all over the upper of this shoe. The whole shoe feels a lot more substantial. You can feel it a lot more at the ankle collar. There's a whole lot of padding back here. It's pretty stiff. The outsole, midsole kind of just rises up there, gives you this heel support. And I believe it's a dual density midsole, compression molded EVA. The shoe actually itself feels pretty comfortable. It looks pretty clunky, I'm not gonna lie, but it definitely feels way more flexible than it looks. What I didn't like about the upper is that with that Dyneema material, like there's a bunch of like weird ridges and flex points, and that's doesn't feel weird against your foot, but looking at it, it just kind of looks a little odd. The insole is just like your standard anatomical like insole that you'd find on the Speed TR and the Nano 8. Let's actually compare it to the Speed TR because this is kind of what we're the most similar with, and it is pretty much identical. I'm going to say that that is actually the exact same insole. It actually has all the same numbers on the bottom of it, so these are the exact same insoles. I don't have my scale with me, but the weight of the RF1s feels somewhere in line with like Nanos. They do definitely feel more heavy than Speed TRs. I'm going to say probably about 12 ounces for a men's 10. One thing I noticed about the shoe almost immediately is that it breathes very, very well. So if you have hot feet, then you will definitely like the RF1s. So sizing your RF1s, like I said before, these are built on the same last as the Speed TR, so the shape is very, very similar in comparison to that shoe. But I would say that you should size these like your Nanos. They do not feel like they run big like the Speed TRs. The shape is very similar, but what makes the difference between that shoe's fit and the RF1s is the fact that the RF1s have more just padding all throughout the shoe, so it feels a lot more substantial on your foot, and there's a lot less space inside of the shoe. They definitely are not a narrow shoe by any means, but if you had a really wide foot, I don't know, you might want to size up. Personally, I went with a size 10. That's my Nano size. That's what I get my Speed TRs in. Even though they do run a little bit big, I prefer that fit over a too tight fit. So, like I said, if you're going to size these and you're worried about sizing, just go with your normal Nano or training shoe size. So like I said earlier, these shoes look a lot more clunky than they feel. Honestly, they're actually pretty flexible shoes. The toe box moves really well with your foot despite having all those weird ridges caused by the Dyneema fabric. I, over time, hope that that does not create any kind of issues with durability because of how it flexes and it just kind of doesn't really move with the mesh part, but the durability of these shoes is yet to be determined. But as far as flexibility goes, they are a lot better than they look. Now, I'm not going to say that they are like a Speed TR. I'm going to say that they're probably a little bit better than the Nano 6, which was probably, in my opinion, the best blend of stability and flexibility for any Nano. The comfort of these shoes is kind of the main point of the RF1s. Rich wanted a shoe that he could work out in and kind of just kick it in at the same time. And you're going to notice that when you put these shoes on, they're very comfortable shoes. There's a lot of cushioning around the ankle collar, which is the most noticeable part of the shoe. The insole is not really, really thick, but it's good enough. It's exactly like the Speed TRs, so it is pretty comfortable. The overall feel of the shoe is wide, so I think a lot of people are going to really like that about the RF1s. In my opinion, I think they're very comfortable shoes, but I have not done anything besides walk around in the house in them, so I'll comment on that after my workout today. Stability of these shoes, from what I can tell, is better than Speed TRs, but not as good as like the Nano 6. Definitely not as good as like the Nano 7, which is just an overly rigid shoe. And I want to say it feels on par with the Nano 8, and That's probably due to just kind of like the way that the outsole is shaped. The bottom is very flat on the shoe despite having all the ridges that over there. It almost resembles, and I hate to say this in a Reebok video, it almost resembles like the outsole of a Metcon because of how sharp the outsole is. And that's a good thing. I think that's one thing that I never really liked about the 908 is that you could get a little bit of rollover, and I did like the sharper edges of the Metcon's outsole in comparison. So I think that is a plus. Though I haven't done any lifts in this shoe, I will definitely comment on that after my workout today, which I'm just about to hit. These shoes retail for $150, so that honestly is not that much more than your standard nanos that retail for $130. They're probably not going to go on sale anytime soon. They're probably going to have a lot of pricing protection, and from what I understand, they're going to be limited edition as well. So if you want to get them, I would say, you know, splurge, get them. If you don't like them, you can always return them on Reebok.com anyways. And I think a lot of the backlash on the shoe is a little harsh and a little unjust, but then you have to realize that these shoes were also made for Rich Froning, and they're made to his liking. So some people are going to like it, some people are not going to like it, and I think if you're kind of on the fence, just give the shoes a try. I'm not going to compare them to any of the other nanos in this video right now. This is just going to be a first impressions video. I just wanted to get some information quickly out there about this shoe because I know a ton of people are going to be asking me about it. I will try to get the full performance review of this shoe out as soon as I humanly possibly can, which is definitely going to be expedited. I'll probably have it out sometime next week, hopefully by this weekend. I'm going to do as much as I can in these shoes. And right now, I'm going to hit that workout. And after this is over, you'll probably see me sweating and dying after my workout. And I'll give you a better kind of insight about how the shoe actually performs as far as the flexibility and stability of the shoe goes. Alright guys, so I just got done with my workout. Today, I squatted up to a max. I haven't squatted in a while because I've been injured. And I hit 405 in the RF1s. Usually around 385 is kind of like my breaking point, and that's when I'll switch to like Oli lifters or something. But I felt comfortable squatting that much in the RF1. So I did break a little bit at the midline, but that's probably from just not squatting in like a month and a half. I really haven't done any heavy weights in that long, so I'm actually really impressed that I felt that stable and that comfortable doing that kind of weight in the RF1s. The outsole, like I said in the initial part of today's kind of first impressions, is flat, it's wide, it's really, really stable. Now, one thing that I did not know earlier today when I did that initial first impressions part was the actual drop of the RF1s. And to my surprise, though these are built on the Speed platform, the drop is 6 millimeters. So they are more of an overall trainer than a just like CrossFit shoe or a minimalist shoe. I'd say 6 millimeters is still very minimal. Don't get me wrong, it still feels like a very flat shoe, even more so than the JJs do, which have a 7 millimeter drop. So don't worry about these feeling tall or anything. They're just a little bit higher than your standard like 4 millimeter drop. Now, the WOD that I did today was a 400 meter run, and then there were some kettlebell swings and kettlebell overhead squats single-handed, which is not my favorite movement. That gave me a little bit of trouble. I did have my heels pick up a little bit, but that is just something that I'm just not good at because my overhead mobility is really, really bad. So I would have done that in pretty much any shoe. Otherwise, the stability doing that was fine. Kettlebell swings, you know, the kettlebell swings, it wasn't a heavy kettlebell, so the RF1s performed just fine right there. Now, running is an area that I had hoped that these shoes were going to be a little bit better for. but they're not amazing yet. I'm going to say that they're probably just about as good as Nanos are. The white platform is a little bit clunky. They are fairly flexible, not as much as Speed TRs, but they're not flexible shoes. So these would not be my first choice for any kind of running workouts, but they should suffice. Just like Nano 6s would, or even Nano 8s. I actually never mind. Nano 8s are definitely better at running than these shoes are, but these are about as good as Nano 6s are. I just wish that they were a little bit better. So far, I really like the shoes. I think they're pretty good. I'm surprised at the 6mm drop, but using the shoes, I didn't notice that they were tall or anything. Usually I like flatter shoes anyways, but so far so good. I'll have the full-on review hopefully as soon as I possibly can, but otherwise, yeah, these shoes come out on the 15th, $150. And you know, if you like the shoe, if you like Rich Froning, pick it up. You know, it's not that much more than a standard pair of shoes, but you know, if you don't like the shoe or you hate the way that it looks, then you know, don't rag on other people because they like the shoe. You know, like everybody has their own preferences, and just because you don't like something doesn't mean that you have to try to ruin somebody else's day about it. So yeah, be good to one another, guys. Thanks for watching. Hit that like and subscribe, and stay tuned for the full-on review of the RF1s.